Hello and welcome to Total IELTS, and in today's lesson I'll be looking at General Training Writing Task 1. That's how to format or organize your answer and the importance of writing in the correct style. That's formal or informal. Now before you write anything, it's very important to read and fully understand the task. This is an essential step. You really should make some time to do this. 20 minutes is sufficient time. And remember, you only need to write 150 words. So for General Training Writing Task 1, all the information you need is in the situation. And there's a lot of reading involved. Here, for example, you are working for a company and you need to take some time off work. And you want to ask your manager about this. And the instruction says write a letter to your manager. So when you read the situation, pay particular attention to who you're writing to. This will always be included in the instructions. And this instruction tells you to write a letter to your manager. Who you're writing to determines the style. Is it formal or informal? And in our example here, write a letter to your manager. This must be formal style. Once you've decided if your tone or style is formal or informal, you must stick with this in all parts of your letter. This will be graded in the task achievement criterion. For example, you can be awarded a band 7 with consistent style or tone, which is also appropriate all the way through your letter. You will be awarded a band 4 if you have inappropriate style or tone. So keep it simple. If the instruction says write a letter to your friend, then it's informal. Writing a letter to everyone else, for example, a manager, neighbor, colleague, company or organization, etc., this will be formal. Now there are some sources that claim there is another style called semi-formal, and this is defined as writing to someone you know but don't have a close personal relationship. So for example, the instruction might say write a letter to your neighbor or colleague, and some sources claim that this is semi-formal. However, semi-formal involves making a value judgment. Should it be formal or informal means you need to decide on your personal relationship with your neighbor or colleague. Deciding this is just too complicated, and it is totally unnecessary. Also, the language for semi-formal and formal letters is virtually the same. So, as I said before, keep it simple. If you're writing to a friend, it's informal. All others, formal. Let's look at some of the language we use for formal and informal. These are just some examples and it's not an exhaustive list. For informal, we would use contractions, but not informal. Idioms are fine to use in informal letters, for example, at the end of the day, but we don't use idioms in formal language. Abbreviations are also okay for informal letters, for example, the max amount, but formal, no abbreviations, always write the words in full. Also, in informal, you should use the imperative voice. Give me a call. But formal would not use this. You would ask a question. Can you call me? Informal, we usually use the active voice. You'll get the book. And formal, the passive. The book will be delivered. It's okay to use colloquial expressions in informal, like he was fired, but we don't use them in formal. We would say he was dismissed. For informal, there is a limit. This is not a text or social media message, so don't use acronyms like you would in a social media message like LOL, and no shortened words. For example, see you later. So you've read the instructions and situation carefully and decided who you're writing to. This will always be included in the instructions. You've also chosen formal or informal style. Then you need to decide what is the purpose of your letter, and that's basically why you're writing. After that, the information that needs to be included, that's the 3 bullet points. And finally, you need to close your letter and sign off in the appropriate style. In other videos, I will look at all of these aspects in greater detail. So, you need to structure your answer, and you can structure it in 6 clear paragraphs. Paragraph 1 should be the purpose. That's why you're writing. 2, 3, and 4 are the 3 bullet points. And 5 is the closing, and 6 is the sign-off. Always begin general training writing task 1 by reading the situation and instructions carefully. Always make time for this. Don't panic, you do have enough time. Decide who you're writing to, and this is not a big decision, it's always included in the instructions. Decide if it's formal or informal, and that is determined by who you're writing to. Don't complicate this, don't overthink it. If it's a friend, it's informal, and all the others formal. Organize your answer into 6 clear and separate paragraphs and leave a space between each one. Paragraph 1 is your purpose, that's why you're writing. 2, 3, and 4 are the bullet points. 5 is closing your letter, and 6 your sign-off.